Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Our friends over at Go are online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Get in touch with the crew over there, Laplace, Baton Rouge, and up in Tennessee. Brand new brand to the Go Chevrolet family up there, GEAUXChevrolet.com. Only one guest on the docket today, Megan Making Money. Mahtook is here, Lloyd is here on this Thursday. A nice, crisp Thursday fall morning for you. Not as cool, not as cool as we thought it was going to be. Maybe a little overdressed here in the UDL.
I came with a hoodie. I was a little disappointed in what's going on. Lloyd already took his off.
Shed the hoodie already. Even turned the AC on.
Still a door open. Yeah, the AC was kind of that was the breaking point.
Yeah. I'm committed to it though. I'm riding it out.
Should be a nice evening today after the rain. Just a typical Baton Rouge day. School called off yesterday for the rain. How about that?
Nothing. That was a normal thunderstorm.
Kids checking out at 1 o'clock. Look at my watch. 3:30. Hadn't even rained yet.
Get him out of here.
I don't think it started raining until 5 o'clock.
And it didn't. It was like 30 minutes.
It's just a normal rainstorm.
Yep. Oh, well.
Do you think they do that for the car, like the carpool?
I don't know why they do it. I really don't. I mean,
traffic sucked yesterday. God, it was so bad.
It's terrible, man. And I mean, like some of the decision makers between
I guess you have to err on the side of caution.
Kids.
You know? Do you, Mikey? It's raining. Did y'all get out of school in Lafayette when it rained when you were kids?
No, not
and
when
I'm
it
not
rained.
here to play back in my day, guy. You know what I mean? But I mean, I can recall being like,
I walked to the school 5 miles uphill, both
snow
ways.
boots.
It snowed. But if you're the kid, you have to hear whispers of like, dude, I think they're going to cancel this thing. Man. You have to be absolutely thrilled.
I mean, little Jay hit me with a FaceTime at 1:02 yesterday. I mean, just grinning ear to ear.
Where you at, J-Boy?
Yeah, right. Can we play some basketball today, Dad? I'm like, I guess, bro. Jeez.
We can play outside.
You have school?
We can play outside, yeah. Yeah, you want to play? We can shoot the hoop on our driveway.
It's unbelievable, man. It does feel good outside this morning, so enjoy your Thursday. We appreciate you starting it here with us. Please, if you don't mind, if you're inside of the bunker over on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, JordyCulottaShow.com, hit that like button. Share if you don't mind. Comment on the post. We appreciate that very much. As we said, Megan making money here at 8:30 this morning. Lots to get to. Pelicans fall to the Hawks last night. Trae Young, incredible over at the Smoothie King Center. Pelicans still missing Zion. Not sure when you're going to get Big Z back. Things not looking good around the Zion Williamson situation with the New Orleans Pelicans. David Griffin went into the season on the hot seat. Looks like it may boil over at some point for Griffin and the Pelicans executives. World Series Game 2.
Yep.
Braves are downed by the Houston Astros. Astros clubbed the Braves last night.
Complete flip.
They got it going early.
Yeah, it was complete opposite. It was the same game, just the other team did it this time.
Felt like that was the way it was going to go.
Did you?
The Astros are too good.
Yeah, but I will say, and they do smash lefties.
Yep.
And Max Fried was a lefty, but he didn't pitch bad. He actually threw pretty well. He got very unlucky for the beginning of the game. Like guys weren't really hitting him super hard. He wasn't giving up a ton of extra base hits. Astros just kept putting balls in play, and they're finding holes, and they're able to scratch some runs. And then, anytime you put a 5 that early, it's tough.
7-2 final last night. Bregman 0 for 3, but drove in the first run of the game on a sacrifice fly. Does
he have a hit yet?
Not in the World Series.
Not in the World Series.
He posted a little Instagram story making fun of himself. Throw some levity to it. You saw he had it was a golf swing bad lie and real wide stance, and he said this is my contact point or something right now, and it's just he made fun of himself.
Pro to pro, big leaguer to big leaguer. What makes him good? Why is Bregman had success early on in his major league career?
He's got unbelievable bat to ball skills, and when I say that, I mean he doesn't swing and miss a lot. He has a great feel for the strike zone, and he barrels balls up a lot, but he doesn't. It's not like he hits the ball unbelievably hard. He barrels balls up and he hit homers, but he's not hitting them. He's not like he's a Judge or a Stanton where he's and obviously he's not
kind
as
of
big
a doubles
as those
guy,
guys.
right?
Yeah, he's a doubles guy. He'll hit homers, especially playing in Houston. But dude, he grinds at bats at the plate, and he doesn't give in. And then when he gets hot, that cocky air of confidence that he's got, he rides that a lot.
Yeah.
He's a great player. I mean, I say this all the time. If you put him up, compare him to pure talented guys, his talent isn't going to Like
wow
just
you.
straight raw talent is not going to wow you, but he gets literally every single ounce out of his ability, you know, and so that makes him great.
Right.
You know, it's pretty cool.
And we will also talk a little bit about the comments from Ed Ogeron last night on the Ed Ogeron show, as last night it was revealed that the Tigers do not have enough players to practice.
Or scrimmage, that's tough.
Today.
That's
The
tough.
Tiger Bowl is usually live during the off week.
And it's supposed to be like the funnest thing they do, like to give you a little levity and the going into the bye.
Well,
Let's have the boys have some
can't
fun.
get wrong. We can't get right.
Would you rather, if you're a player, I'm sure they would rather have done the Tiger Bowl, but at this point they're probably like, bleep it, man. Let's just take off. Like, let's go home.
Well, I mean, you're really at a point where you are in serious, dire straits if anybody gets hurt. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go out there and get somebody hurt.
You're about to run through the gauntlet, too.
In a situation where, I mean, you don't have players already, and if you were to lose one on the practice field, how much do you kick yourself going into this November stretch?
Now, how do we have anybody that is like scheduled to come back after for the next week?
Like Jason Hines,
Cam Wire.
So we have a couple guys
are expected to come back,
line.
but you got to get those guys back after the news of Anthony Bradford earlier this week that he's going to miss the remainder of the season. Who's been playing a lot of left tackle up to this point, playing it, not bad. I mean, serviceable for sure.
The thing is, he's playing it.
Yes, exactly.
He is a body on the
He's
field.
a warm body.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. And Mark Ingram back in New Orleans, which I think is a fantastic story, at least for Alvin Kamara. You can see your best player, how much that affected him when he was initially released or, not re-signed in his free agency a couple of years back when he signed with Baltimore, to the joy that he had yesterday in getting him back in the locker room. Does this have a huge impact on the field, or does this have a bigger impact in the locker room?
I think more in the locker room, but I think on the field he's going to help too. I mean, Alvin Kamara can't keep touching the ball 30 plus times a game.
Right.
Like, it's not. You need to keep him for the whole season. I think Ingram's going to help. There's going to be zero getting up to speed. Like, he obviously knows the entire offensive playbook. But I think I think they already had a great locker room. They already had like the person, but I mean, you put Mark Ingram back in with him and Alvin Kamara, they're probably going to start doing, the team, the dual interviews together again.
Yeah.
Like,
get the ski mask back out.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like that. I mean, that's a lot of energy.
I wonder if that can bring back Mike Thomas too. You know what I mean? Like from a morale standpoint, just kind of get him back, because that was discouraging what we heard from Underhill yesterday. And not that Underhill broke any news. I think him just being close to the situation, he's just kind of reading it. He's like, one week I see him tweeting about the Saints, and then, he takes 5 weeks off about saying anything about them.
Right.
And then he mentioned something in the Seattle game, and people are saying around the Mike Thomas situation that he's not coming back until he can't feel, any pain. He wants no pain in that foot, which seems like that could be, a minute before that happens. But getting a guy like Ingram back around, getting him back in the locker room, and I agree with you. They already had a fantastic locker room from a chemistry standpoint. They do need him from a football standpoint. I mean, you think about Latavius Murray cut in the offseason or, right before the start of the season. And then
because they had Tony Jones Jr.,
who just went down.
And he's been out. He must not be coming back anytime soon.
Right.
Like, that must be close to a season-long deal for him. But, I mean, he was a rookie. I know Sean liked him a lot, and that was part of the reason why Latavius Murray got let go.
So it's a cool story. Ingram's 31 years old, which, by running back standard is, an elderly in the league.
31 is not
spent
old,
his
young.
first 8 seasons in New Orleans, just over 6,000 yards on the ground. I think he's 89 yards shy of the career rushing record behind Deuce McAllister. So, you'll have some milestones coming up here where you'll celebrate. I'm anxious to see what number he is.
Yep.
I mean, CD Deuce isn't going to give 22 up.
He will if you pay him.
Quietly. Quietly.
He came out yesterday and he was like, "Hey, I know how much it means to you. I know how much it means to the fans to have you in your number." He said, "Come holler at me." And he put the money bags on there. So he knows the deal.
CD Deuce is such a menace. He's like, "Oh no, what it
I
means
love
to
it,
you in
though.
the city? Break me off a little bit."
Doesn't it tell you how good he is, though, for a guy like Peyton to put up with CD Deuce's antics? Like, you never hear anything from the Saints about, like, kind of like, yo, dude, chill.
Chill out.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it is a testament to how good he is. And I think when he's up on the block, they're going to re-sign him. Like, they're going to throw a ton of money at him.
I was surprised the Monday night game, I was surprised he wasn't in the middle of all the chippiness.
Me too.
I was waiting for him to get that personal foul penalty. Like, come on, man.
Every time that there's something going on, I expect him to be in the middle of it.
Right.
I think that they knew better. I think that they're like, you can mess with everybody out here, but CD Deuce will get you, like, he'll get your ass in trouble.
I think
you're right, because he usually does what DK does.
Respond,
he instigates and he gets them to get the first shove. No doubt.
I mean, still to this day, I've never seen anybody melt down as much as that guy, the wide receiver for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, like, went to him in front of the official after the whistle had blown, ripped the chain, and punched him in the helmeted face.
Who was that?
It was Wims for the Chicago Bears.
Oh, Wims was his name.
Dropped the pass
in the
playoff game.
They were so in his head.
Wow.
I mean, he was just rattling in his head.
But the best part of that whole altercation was he rips the chain, hits him, and then CD Juice goes, "What's he doing? Me?" And he's like, "You know them little fuckers."
I mean, just this. And I think that's probably why Peyton loves him so much.
Yeah,
just because he's probably like a Sean Payton type player.
Well, Peyton trolls people too
all the time.
You get on Twitter and like he trolls people all the time. So he loves that.
So it'll be good to get Mark Ingram back. And like we said, 89 yards shy of the career rushing record with the Saints. So that'll be something cool that we see here. You know, that Ingram should be able to accomplish fairly early on in his Saints debut. It'll be good to get him back this Sunday versus Tampa and what I expect to be a pretty rowdy Superdome. I mean,
I hope.
I'm looking forward to it.
Kelly
And I have got tickets. We're going down. We actually got tickets to the game Sunday, Saints and Bucs 325, and then My Morning Jacket is playing that night at maybe the Fillmore, not the Fillmore, the Orpheum, maybe and we're gonna go. Right, but after the news that we got, I don't know if we'll be able to make that. I mean, I don't know who I am, man. Trying to sign up for I'll need that.
But would you say that this, with Mark Ingram coming back to the Saints, I know they already have some juice being 4-2, but the Mark Ingram news, you're playing Tampa, it just feels like all the vibes are aligning for it to be like a monster Saints game.
He's gonna be a plug and go.
Yeah,
like he's there
for sure.
Hey, you're in.
Yeah,
like we got you. We had this game on Sunday against the Bucs. We know how good you've been with us, and you know the history. You're in.
Expect Armstead back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's some good news. You get on the offensive line, and hopefully you can get some good news from Mike Thomas. So I mean, this is going to be a showdown Sunday. I think this is going to tell you a lot because Bucs 6-1. They only beaten one team with a winning record.
Yeah,
right?
and they almost lost. They almost lost to the Pats in New England. They've had some tight games, and Antonio Brown's out. He's not playing this weekend, I don't think.
And the Saints play a style of offense that's conducive to keeping the Bucs off the field. I know that Tampa Bay has a very good run defense because of who they have in the middle. They brought everybody back. But if you can kind of keep Tom off the field, nickel him, dime him, and now you add Ingram to be able to run the ball a little bit more effectively, there's a window there of how to beat the Bucs. And there were 2-0 against them in the regular season last year.
You beat the Bucs by being able to get pressure with your front four, and we do that really well.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, we'll be able to pressure Tom.
Get him off the spot.
Move him off the spot, is what they could say.
Seems so easy.
Coach terms.
Move him off the spot, and I think we have an opportunity to do that with especially Davenport back.
The Bucs been out on Brady for 20 years. Nobody can stop him.
That's right. Just get him off his plane. Move him off his throwing plane. All right, sweet. We'll do it, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Have you got any crazy stories about players bidding on numbers, exchanging numbers? Have you ever seen anything crazy, wild, any type of bets, cash?
Honestly, not real. I mean, there hadn't been like an incident where I was like, man, I wonder what's going to happen. Because usually if somebody, a vet, and at least in my experience, veterans in baseball, when they would come to a team and they needed their number, the guy that had their number before wasn't. He wasn't like a established guy, you know. So it was a younger guy, and so they just kind of gave it. Maybe got like a, suit or whatever from it. Actually, I saw one in AAA. Actually, it was weird. My first year in AAA, it was a middle infielder, and he came and he asked he wanted his number. It was a triple. I was like, dude, it's AAA.
Come on, bro.
Come on.
And he ended up giving.
Get your ham sandwich, brother.
He ended up buying this guy an Apple Watch for his number.
Wow.
I'm like, damn.
Sweet deal.
This guy's a minor leaguer, and you get him an Apple Watch.
Had he been up to the bigs?
Yeah, he was up for. He had almost he was a veteran. He probably had 8-9 years in the big leagues. He was trying to make his way back, But he gave him an Apple Watch. I'm like, well, shit.
Right.
You know,
What
like,
you think about 8?
Yeah, you want this? You want this number? I couldn't even wear 8 because I was with Durham Bulls and they fucking retired it because of a fake player.
No.
Because Crash Davis from
No
Durham.
way.
Crash Davis. He's not even a real person.
Are you kidding?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, don't you go down to Durham and you tell them that.
I went in there. I was like, hey, can I get number 8? And they're like, oh, it's retired. I'm like, really? Whose number? He's, oh, Crash Davis. The guy from Bull Durham? I mean,
Kevin
from Bull
Costner?
Durham? And he's like, yeah. I was like, dude, he's not even real. And you retired number 8?
What number Santa Claus?
Yeah. I was like, you kidding me? So then I
Is
got number 7.
Durham the coolest minor league town?
One of them, bro.
They've
done a really good job. It's better now than even when I was there. But they have true like fans there. Like they're real fans. Like
Like SEC football fans type?
yeah, like they like baseball. They don't care what prospects there. And it helps that the Rays minor league system is like stupid good and they're always winning. But I mean, the guy who they've built I guess this businessman had developed everything around it. So like there's business office buildings, restaurants, hotels.
So it's kind of like the place to be.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, they've done a good job.
That's what they were trying to do in Jacksonville around Irv the Perv,
Oh, my
but
God.
they couldn't get it done. I think he's not going to be there for the long haul, but that was their plan in Jacksonville, was to build everything around the
Jacksonville,
football and, do
well,
like...
the baseball, the
yeah.
AAA baseball stadium is right behind the football stadium. Jacksonville's a dump.
Yes,
Sorry,
it
whoever's
is.
from Jacksonville.
It
It's
is
terrible.
Well, I mean, the Super Bowl, for whatever reason, went there one season, and I remember like all of the reviews just being like,
Terrible.
"Are you kidding me, NFL? Like, did you send us to this dump of a place where you can't move around? There's no entertainment." I mean, to me, the best entertaining city, and I am biased, but I mean, like from a sporting event standpoint, is New Orleans.
No, it's got voted. You know, it got voted as from like NFL players and writers. They voted it the #1 destination place in the NFL.
Absolutely, well, because you can do everything on foot. You can eat, you can walk, you can stay in your hotel, and you can get to the game all in a
And
just
it's something.
block radiuses of each other, and all around that stuff, you've got entertainment, you've got food, you've got culture, you've got things that
It's something you don't ever see. There's not
rarely
another city.
see.
There's not
That's
another
right.
city in the league that has that combination.
tourist attraction city.
Yeah.
Well, and you can tell because the Saints are the only, or New Orleans is the only city that hasn't had to make like a major pull to get the Super Bowl. Like every other team has had to build a new stadium. Every other city's had to build a new stadium. Do something different, renovate their stadium. The Saints renovated a little bit, but New Orleans is always on the chopping block to get Final Four,
Super Bowl,
national championships, and it's just because it's not because of the stadium. It's because of how convenient everything is around it. So that'll always be around in my mind.
I agree.
Have y'all seen speaking of renovations? Have y'all seen the new on-field deals seats?
I'm looking
Suites?
forward to it. Sunday will be
I
my
heard they're
first time.
awesome.
Yeah, I've heard they
they're
are cool.
awesome.
And that's kind of that's what they've done. I mean, they've kind of kept up with the times while keeping the tradition of the Superdome, right? I mean, like there's a lot of people that have seen generations of football in that place, but from a NFL standpoint, from a place that is bidding on national championships, Super Bowls, and Final Fours, you've got to be able to show that the place is modern.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it's 2021 ready. I mean, I would say within the next 5 years, you're probably going to have a kiosk at your seat that you can plug your phone into and gamble live on whatever event is happening right in front of your face. And maybe even sooner than that, probably within a three-year window compared to a 5-year window.
If they make you not be able to get up and put a bet in, that is going to be an expensive ticket at the end of the day if you're not rolling the right way. Be like, it was $50 for the ticket, but I put in $200 worth of bets and lost them all.
Isn't that? I mean, that's kind of the European experience, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, if you go down and check one of these soccer matches out,
Is that what
or one of
happens
these,
in the soccer?
yeah, I mean, they're so
That's a bucket
gambling.
list.
Yeah, me too. I would love to do that. I would love to see a big soccer game match. But like you check in there and like everything is live bettable.
Betting.
You know, like you can bet on everything that's happening on the field. You can almost bet on like the next play. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like I think it'll get to a point where will Alvin Kamara get the next handoff? Yes or no? I mean, like $25.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Over under 3.5 yards this play. Over, smash it.
Right. Oh, no doubt. That's exactly where it's going to go to.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson Spillers, our
Walk
dentist
out of there
here.
so poor.
Oh man,
Or so rich.
or loaded.
So rich,
Or you
yeah.
know that
So
first time you do it.
Yeah,
the
of
first
course.
time you do it, you're gonna rack up. You know, you're gonna crush it. Can't wait to go back next Sunday.
Gail, where's my money?
That's the thing. You can't go in there. It's like you go to the casino. It's like, hey, I'm going to go to the casino. I'm really proud. You're going to lose. Like, no. The mindset is not. You can't have the mindset, I'm going to lose money.
Right.
think I've
it's always an investment opportunity.
I don't think I've ever.
And even when you do lose it, I'm going to get their ass next time.
I'm going to get them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got to be positive.
Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson and Spillers. They are our dentist here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I've got an appointment this morning at 11 o'clock to follow up, bro. What a process this has been.
Is that going to affect what happens later on in the day?
Who knows? We'll see. Dr. Spillers and Dr. Johnson, a couple of locations, Gonzales and Baton Rouge. Looking forward to getting over there to the Gonzales stop today on Prepara Avenue. Remember, they're online at johnsonspillers.com. Facebook, Instagram, all over social media. Check them out there. General dentistry, pediatric dentistry. You can get all of that over at Johnson and Spillers, johnsonspillers.com. Ed Ogeron last night was speaking to the press after practice. He was also speaking on his radio show. Made a couple of comments that jumped out. He did say that he was going to stick with his quarterback, Max Johnson, though Garrett Nussmeier was getting a lot of reps. Do you want to see a quarterback change? I'm not really down for the quarterback change.
Me either.
I think Johnson. I don't know what more he can really do.
I don't think the quarterback is the issue. I don't think there's a need to change that. He's been good. Good for what we've given him. They haven't. You had a revolving door at offensive line. They haven't been solid. They haven't. They've been very inconsistent. You have your number one receiver has been hurt. So you have a bunch of freshmen that are trying to get their feet wet with you, and you have an offensive scheme that's not creative. So, and you can't really run the ball. So, what are you asking for this guy? This guy hasn't even started a full season yet in college football, and you're asking him to do some stuff that's just not fair to him. I don't think. And then you want to put in a freshman,
right?
And let him do the same stuff, because he looks good and he has a bazooka of an arm.
I also heard him say that they will build some packages for Nussmeier. Yesterday after practice, he mentioned that they were going to try and really kind of force him into the game in certain points, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, that I'm okay with.
I'm fine with, because I don't think that you can look at Max Johnson. I know people want to really degrade his play over the last couple of weeks, but, that offensive line that he's dropping back behind, the instability in the wide receivers, taking Keyshawn Butte out of the lineup over the last couple of weeks. He's dealt with some pretty adverse situations, and I think that you really couldn't ask anything more from Johnson. He's, we can be critical all we want, and yes, when Nussmeier comes in, it does provide this spark. It feels like a very energy boost, but from a playing standpoint, I don't see where Nussmeier makes you this tremendously better team than what Johnson does, and you also have to balance the fact of you don't want to crush this guy's confidence. As confident as Nussmeier is, it seems like that would be almost impossible to do. But a month of Alabama, Arkansas, and Texas A&M can do that to an 18-year-old.
No doubt. And it hurt. You don't. If you're playing Alabama, obviously neither one. I don't want either one of them to get hurt. But like you said, you don't have this guy doesn't have any starting experience. Doesn't have any. You don't want to throw him out there and say, hey, here you go. Go play Alabama. Go play all these guys, and they're going to change coverages on you. They're going to do stuff that you've never seen in your life, and good luck. No, you don't. No.
Yes, no, I'm with you. I think that Johnson obviously is a guy. And then yesterday we hear more news or news of more transfers. Bug Strong has put his name into the transfer portal. It seems to be there's some type of shakeup happening on the defense, at least for the last couple of weeks here of the season, because I've heard some reports that Mike Jones is getting onto the field a little bit more coming up, and then it looks like Greg Penn Jr., Greg Penn III, who is a true freshman linebacker, is getting some first-team reps with Micah Baskerville. And I agree, man. It is time to start playing while you're not giving up on the veterans and the upperclassmen. If there's an opportunity to play these young guys,
let them go.
Hey, first and foremost, you got to hang on to your roster.
No doubt.
You got to show these guys that, look, there's a future for you. And I know that, this current staff, this is why this is such a dangerous territory for a college football team of having, a coach in place that's not going to be here in the future when, you got to be looking out for the best interest of the program down the line, and the best interest of the program is playing some of these youngsters that may be, rattling around in their head. Should I leave? Should I go?
Yeah.
Should I stay? What's going to be the outlook? And if you can get them on the field and get them a nice little confidence boost going into the offseason, that probably gives LSU a better chance of hanging on to them rather than having to recruit them back in the transfer portal.
No doubt. And what happened with Mike Jones?
Wasn't
he supposed to be he was a starter at Clemson, right?
He was a starter at Clemson, and his like the skill set, his analysis on him was like he was like
a great
Jabril Cox,
a great cover
from last year.
Right?
Guy could run.
Yeah.
You could put him one-on-one in space, and really some of the things that LSU was getting beat by early on, you were like, what? Where is this guy?
UCLA,
you know what I mean? Like
UCLA was the perfect game to enroll him and let him go cover the tight end
I'm confused at that whole deal. I don't know what happened.
What we watched probably 5 minutes of UCLA before the game. We were like, tight end, somebody needs to cover him. They threw it to him 15 times.
He's their best player.
Yeah, and we're like, well, Mike Jones, this is what you might be the Mike Jones coming out party. Doesn't touch the field, and then you never really saw him matriculate onto the field except for special teams. And now he's getting a shot to play. It's just the roster management has been bizarre. Buck Strong, by the way, recruited by Bo Pelini. That's who got him here.
The two transfers, like in the transfer pool that everybody was excited about, was him and Major Burns.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, I know Major Burns probably has played more, but like
out for the year.
Yeah, but you still haven't like they weren't. It wasn't like a Jabril Cox difference maker.
You see Georgia's defense, and it makes more sense why Major Burns is looking to get out of there. Their safety play looks like the friggin' Raiders, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like they look like an NFL squad on the back end of that defense. But yes, I mean, I got to imagine Mike Jones, in his head, is thinking, man. I mean,
what the fuck?
I was sold a bill of goods in recruiting on how I could get on the field. And when he gets out there, everything that you were told about him looks right. Like he looks like he can run. He's a tackler. I mean, if you watch him on the kickoff team, he's flying down the field. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think that this is obviously the time to do this, and it will be interesting to see how this is handled by the current staff, just because, I mean, there's no benefit for them in it. There's no reward for Ed Ogeron and his staff on really developing and securing the future of LSU football.
Now, on a positive note, like I've been really, really like it's been fun to watch Damon Clark play this year. Like we try. Look, the criticism is very well
documented.
Yes, it needs to be said. But I mean, Damon Clark, because everybody wrote him off last year, the year before. Like it's just, I'm happy for him, man. He looks good. He's fun to watch. I think he's made himself a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that he could be a finalist for the Butkus Award.
I mean,
he's that good.
He has 100 tackles already.
I mean, and he is 1, 2, 3 every week nationally.
Yeah.
In tackles.
And he doesn't miss tackles. Like they said that I think there was a stat was like has the highest rate of if he grabs you, you're done. You're done. No missed tackles.
He has been super impressive this season. Watching him at Southern Lab, you thought this was the player he was going to be. Like when he was coming out, he was so dominant in high school and doing the things that he's doing now. Like, I mean, he would track players down. Yeah. He would catch you from behind. He would run sideline to sideline. He would intercept passes. I mean, he was just the best athlete on a team full of athletes. And to see the way that he struggled last year, you wondered, man, is he going to get this right? Like, I mean, it looks so far disconnected to the type of player that he was in recruiting and coming out of high school to now it's all kind of fallen in line. I think he's borderline first-round pick. I really do. I think that when you look at him and the way that he's going to test.
Yeah, that's the thing.
When you may look on the film and say, ugh, man, I wish he could do this a little bit better. And then you're going to go see him in shorts, no shirt, in a testing environment where he's jumping, running, shuttle, and showing his athleticism where he's showing you can throw him the ball. And you're going to be like, oh, shit, like I might have to take a flyer on this guy. And the NFL is so arrogant. The coaches are so cocky in that league. You see a prospect like that, and you see the way he struggled at LSU, and they think to themselves, I can be the difference maker. I'll make him better.
Right.
If he gets in our program, if he gets under my tutelage, if he gets in our system, then he could potentially be, a starter or an NFL impact guy. And I think that Damon Clark has put himself and his future status in a great position in a time of, a lot of struggle around the LSU football program. He will look at it and look back and say, it was a sucky experience during college, even though he was on the 19 team. But, after that, things kind of fell off a cliff for the program. But for him individually, he's made himself a lot of money.
It reminds me of like Patrick Queen.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Queen was like athletic linebacker, sideline to sideline, and then he had his breakout year, and then 32nd pick, right, or 31st pick by the
Ravens. And he was a defensive, almost defensive rookie of the year. Probably should have been.
Should have bbeen.
Dude, Damon Clark 6'3", 245. Like, when you line that measurables up, and then he's going to run, what?
4.5,
high,
maybe?
Yeah, high 4.4s, 4.5 for sure. And then get him on the bench press.
I mean,
like,
dude,
he's going to have to do all these testings, and people will be like,
he
"Get
looks
him
like
on my
Adonis.
team." Yes.
Like, he looks like a sculpture.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you see him, you're like, good God. You know what I mean? Just, that is what a middle linebacker in the SEC you would think looks like.
Yep.
And look, man, you get him into a testing atmosphere, and he's going to blow people's mind. He really is, just because he's so big, he's so strong, he's so fast, and then you're going to be like, wow, he can do all this and move like that. We're taking him. You know, we're doing it.
We're not going to be that wrong.
Yes.
Right.
And then, obviously, the discouraging news that came out last night, and I think, you know, really and truly, again, we're not here to pile on, and I'm not doing this every day on the show, but to get the news that LSU football does not have enough players to go through a practice or their regular annual Tiger Bowl scrimmage the week of the bye is just incredibly discouraging to think where this program is in just 2 years after being on the top of the mountain, to see the depths of the sewer that they're swimming in right now is so alarming, and has to be, and like we've said so many times, it has to be a cautionary tale to so many programs and coaches. There has to be so many people, in my opinion, looking at LSU saying, fellas, you better get up and go to work every day.
Yep.
Coaches, you better get up and do your job every single day, even after you have success, because if you think you can take 3 weeks, a week, 2 weeks, a month off and go do whatever it is that the LSU football program leadership has been doing over the last 2 years and think you can just keep it steady and that we're going to be locked into these jobs for long term just because we've had some sudden success, you better look at LSU.
Yeah.
You better look at Ed Ogeron. You better look at what's going on down there and see how fast it can come from out of under you. And to get that news and to see that tweet that Jock put out yesterday just about the status of where LSU is from a practice standpoint and don't have enough players to go through a scrimmage today. That is the lowest point of LSU football since the late 90s,
Yep.
in my opinion. And look, it may go deeper. It may go lower over the next month. But the fact that they can't field a practice and put together a scrimmage is the low point
Told you both
of
ways,
the last
baby.
25 years.
Get them going both ways, high school style.
I mean, Malik Neighbors might be going wide receiver safety.
Let's go.
I mean, you might have
Let's go.
You might have to put Ty Davis Price at like a strong safety.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Starting running back.
No, what do you have to lose? I feel like it's like a heavyweight fight, and we're like the boxer that's wobbling. We can't throw the towel in because we're still conscious, and we're still throwing a few punches here and there, but we're not going to win. The decision's already made, but we got to finish the fight, and you don't want to give up. It's tough. It's a bad position to be in.
I can't remember a team. I can't remember.
Going people both ways.
I mean, forget LSU being in this situation. I can't recall listening or hearing a team around the SEC or around the country ever dealing with this type of situation with their roster where, like, they are in serious dire straits if you lose a couple of people at certain positions where they will not be able to. They'll have to ask people to transfer spots. They'll have to move spots because they can't do it. They're probably going to dress out 52 people against Alabama.
You know,
I mean, like,
you know what's crazy?
It is going to look like Catholic High playing whatever independent school, like Manny, Louisiana type.
Hey, watch it now. They're pretty good back. They're pretty salty in 2010.
Independent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 1A school.
Yeah.
It's going to look so just. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Like, look at LSU and Alabama where it is right now. LSU can't even field what looks like a team on that sideline.
Well, and the thing that hurts the most, if you're these guys that probably have been wanting to play, look who's next on the docket. Like, how bad do you really want to play?
Right.
Because if you have to toss a freshman out there, freshman safety against Alabama, and you have Robinson, number 4, coming downhill, or who's a fifth-year senior at you, like, you don't want that smoke. Dude, you're going to find out real quick how much you want to play. And if you can roll with those punches, because they're going to hang 50 on you.
Yeah.
And there's going to be people out there like Matthew Langlois you might finally see, and he's going to have to get in action on the field on defense for the first time against Alabama. Like, that is you have to have the utmost confidence in yourself to go out there and be able to play, because it's going to get nasty.
Nasty. And it's, look, you go to the, you can.
I mean, you're signing up for that. You're signing up for war. That's 18 years old. You're putting your papers down like, I want to go fight for us.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, go get on the boat.
They can't have any more tables available in the training room for the healthy players.
No.
Like you have all these guys that are hurt or out for the year. Like, the training room's a big training room, but like, I mean, they can't have not much room to give. Like, what's going on?
Might have to borrow assumptions with Cole Tracy.
Yeah.
We put some of that together.
The most valuable player the next couple of weeks for home games for LSU could be the clock operator.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, just keep that thing moving, man. Get this thing over with as fast as possible. I know Ogeron's got $17 million waiting on him at the end of this season, which is incredible to think about. But could you imagine what the next month is going to feel like from a professional standpoint?
Earning every dollar.
No, not earning every
Oh, no, to have to sit there and take that. You're getting roasted for the next 5 weeks.
I mean, you got to think
There's
like
no
out loud, like,
positivity except
boys,
for that money.
we are about to be the butt of every single college football joke
That's
that
on me.
exists, and it's going to be because of me. Now, I'm getting paid after this, and I'm going to collect a big old check.
NIL deals probably aren't going to be as high as my $17 million check.
And coaches, I don't know what to tell you on where you might be next year at this time, but
thanks for
the
helping.
next 5 weeks, we are going to be the punching bag of the sport, not only on the field for Texas A&M, Arkansas, and LSU, but for the entire talking head community of everybody that's paying attention to college football. LSU is about to go through some brand management that is going to be just they're about to get terrorized.
And it hurts because of who they're playing, right? It hurts because of Alabama and A&M and Arkansas. Not so much Arkansas, but to a degree. But it's going to be on the SEC Network national news. Like, it's going to be played over and over again. It's not just going to be the people in Baton Rouge that are talking about LSU football and what's happened.
Just counting down
I'm sorry. It's just going to be the fall from grace from 2019 to where it's still relevant in, like, the Feinbaums, the Herb Streets, the college game days, where they're still going to have to mention LSU and be like, oh, what's happened down in Baton Rouge? So it won't just be us talking about it. So that makes it worse.
I mean, the games that we're playing, the schedule
we
have,
to be on national TV.
You have to. You're playing as the teams that are ranked. Like, you're gonna have to be talked about. I'm just counting down the days until we hire our new coach so that we can have some sort of positive light in the media.
I think it's before Thanksgiving.
It has to be.
I think it's over the next 3 weeks. I think the over-under is 3 weeks from today. Give me I'd take even money. I would take pick them because it's probably going to be right around that timeline, because
every game is going to get, the heat's going to get more and more.
It's going to ratchet up.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I mean, you really are going to have to manage in front of that. I mean, you're going to have to do that. I mean, you're going to have to get out in front of this.
But you have to take in consideration of who they want to hire, and they'll be half-cocked going into their season. Their season's not done. But a lot of those coaches won't announce anything if they're going into a bowl game or going into an SEC championship, Big 12 championship. Some of the swings that LSU's are taking, these coaches are going to be playing for massive bowl games to where they're not going to be able to say, hey, I can't help you with recruiting until I'm done here. Lane Kiffin's the only one that's ever walked away mid-season, mid-bowl game.
It's not necessarily they have to go on the recruiting trail. It's just to announce, like, hey, this is where we're going. You don't have to recruit yet. This is where we're going, so we have something to tell the guys that we have coming in.
Right, but a lot of coaches don't want to say that to the team they're currently coaching.
I get it. Yeah. I get it.
No, that's going to be the issue. But I think, you can get past that in the sense of whether you negotiate allowing or whether the coach will finish out the season for his current team, but you can have that announcement of at least you have the coach in place who can start to put together the recruiting roster at least, who can go out there and start selling and pushing the message of, hey, this is who we are. This is who we're going to be, and this is how you fit in. Because right now it's a lot of idle nose and shoulder shrugs, which gives Kirby Smart, Jimbo Fisher, Dan Mullen, and Nick Saban a huge gap to run through and make an impact on everybody. Will Campbell, Walker Howard, guys that are already committed to the LSU class, people are in their back pocket, in their ear, in their DMs, on their text messages, lighting these guys up and letting them know that LSU doesn't know who they're hiring right now, and we're stable over here in College Station. and we're really happy over here in Tuscaloosa, and we got a spot for you. And as much as Walker Howard and Will Campbell have told everybody that they're not listening to anybody else, how couldn't they right now? How couldn't they? I mean, they're not LSU football fans. You know what I mean? They're not fans. Sure, they're people around, but they're bidding on themselves.
They're listening to other teams right now. It's just a matter of how much are they going to listen. Like, yeah, you can court me. You can give me all these cool stuff and let me go on these visits. Like, I'll listen to that extent, but, like, are they listening to the point of, like, okay, now I'm not sure about LSU? Like, listening to, like, hey, listening to the noise or listening to, to listen to say, show me some attention, but I know where I'm going to go.
Right, because those guys, the other schools that are able to recruit are able to pitch an absolute future because they have the coaching staff in place. When you have what seems to be, I guess, Ed Orgeron on the trails, what it seemed like he was going to do this weekend, go see some high school football games. You can't talk to players, but you can talk to coaches. But what message is that? Like, they don't have a message to pitch, essentially, whenever you have the stability of every other program. But I think some of these guys, I'll disagree with Jordy a little bit, do want to come to LSU regardless, like because of whether it be their bloodline or connection to LSU, or some people are like Mikie where they grow up like, I never even really thought about another school because I've loved LSU since I was 8 years old. And those are the kind of people that can change the culture in 1 year because they're that good.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a very fan take.
Yeah, I know,
yeah.
But I think these people are fans of football.
You're kidding yourself if Walker Howard is not listening to what Brian Kelly is telling him and taking that to heart. I'm not saying that it's changing his passion that he's always had for LSU. It's not changing the love that he's always had for the university. But for him, the football player, he's listening to Brian Kelly or Nick Saban or Kirby Smart, who's telling them, hey, Walker, I know you love LSU. I know you grew up loving LSU. But right now, LSU may not be the best choice for you, and it just sucks that it happens when you're 18 years old.
Right.
And when you're 18 years old, we're stable, and we need a quarterback. And there's nobody on our board that we think is better than you. So you want to come to the University of Georgia and be the starting quarterback in Athens? And he goes to Athens for a weekend, and he sees the lifestyle, and he sees the SEC life that he can live as a recruit and think to himself, damn, if it's like this when they want me, I wonder what it's going to be like when I'm starting for them.
Yep.
Next year.
And now it's in his head. And now it's just kicking around. And he still might come to LSU. And if I'm betting on it, if we're voting on it, he's coming to LSU in my opinion.
But it matters not who they hire.
But I've never felt like it was ever up in the air.
And now it feels
now I kind of do.
Right, I agree. Like, I think he's gonna listen. And look, if you hire someone that's good, a good hire, he's gonna come. Right. Now, if you drag your feet, you don't hire someone, and he doesn't like the hire, he's not gonna put himself in that position, no matter how much of a fan he is of LSU. I agree. I still think he's coming to LSU because I think that we're gonna nail the hire. But yeah, I mean, he's not just gonna come here because he loves LSU that much. Like, just he can't put himself in that position.
Right, but like we said, I feel like we trust Scott Woodward in this scenario, and those are the guys, like the stalwarts of this class, are going to wait as long as they possibly can before they feel like they are forced to go somewhere else. I guess it's a better way to put it.
Absolutely. But look, I mean, like, as somebody puts, Rusty Brooks just put inside of the bunker, if Lane Kiffin or Lincoln Riley are announced in 3 weeks, everything's good.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now people are like, okay, I know what it is. I know who it's going to be. I know what's going on. I mean, if it's anybody, once you make that announcement, at least you now have a message to sell. And LSU right now is in a state of just, I don't know. And in recruiting, I don't know is
not good.
That is headshots, man. I mean, that's as bad as it gets.
Do we have can we pull up the new odds on who Vegas thinks or the coach is gonna be?
I can look them up.
We haven't looked it up. I think that in a minute, right?
Shamichael Thompson says, I don't think Notre Dame is a school that can pull Walker Howard away, but I believe Georgia and Alabama can. I'm just giving the
But why not?
I'm giving the Notre Dame example because that's where he was last weekend.
And why?
But my question is why not? Why wouldn't Notre Dame be a school? I know they're not in the SEC, but they're an independent. They can play whoever they want, and they play a decent schedule. And they're Notre Dame, like, they're going to be in the national media spotlight. I'm not saying that it's the best school, but, like, why wouldn't Notre Dame be a school is my question.
I do believe that Scott Woodward has been in touch with people like Jamie Howard and people, like Will Campbell's dad and people in the class that are very influential and instrumental in stabilizing LSU football. I do believe that those people do have an idea of the direction. I don't know if they know who's going to be the hire, but I think that they've answered questions. Woodward has answered questions that they might have.
He has to.
He has to.
He's got to be the recruiter right now.
100% has
de facto head coach, basically.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones. Edward Jones is our financial advisor over here on the Jordy Culotta Show. He can easily be yours. That is Daniel Newman I'm speaking about. Daniel Newman is out in central Louisiana. You can find him there on Market Square, Magnolia Square Drive, and you can email him at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Very skilled in this space, a long-term experienced financial advisor who has worked with financial services and within the financial services industry for a long time. I've told you over the last couple of weeks, remember, if you're in the plant, if you work at the plants, Dow, BASF, Exxon, anybody around here in Louisiana or even outside of Louisiana. Daniel got a call after somebody listening to the Jordy Culotta Show in Houston, Texas, who he's helping out with their finances. He can help yours out. 401k, Social Security, investment strategy. Let Daniel Newman help you out. Financial advisor over at Edward Jones, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. We'll get a weekend full of picks from Megan Making Money coming up here from Barstool Sports at 8:30 this morning. We'll ask her who she likes on Thursday Night Football. Arizona and Green Bay. COVID bites this game a little bit, taking a couple of big-time players out. Devontae Adams going to miss for Green Bay as he'll be out for COVID protocols. And then J.J. Watt is going to miss as he's having season-ending shoulder surgery that will knock him out for the Arizona Cardinals. Still a really good matchup on Thursday night. Maybe looking at the MVP of the league and Kyler Murray, or at least right now between him and Dak Prescott, they feel like they're sitting in the driver's seat for this award at the halfway point.
How about I love always every time. So J.J. Watt's awesome, right? He's one of the best defensive ends of our generation. But every time he gets hurt and it's a season-ending injury, you hear after the fact like, yeah, J.J. Watt. He ripped his pec in half, but he played the rest of the game, and now he's gonna have surgery. Or yeah, J.J. Watt broke his fibia, and he ended up playing the rest of the game, but then he's has surgery. He's out for the rest of the year. J.J. Watt always gets hurt in the middle of the game and always finishes a game. And it's not like a sprained ankle or like a broken finger or something. No, it's like surgeries where like it's like an hour surgeries and like. This guy is just an animal. He was
fitting. Wait. Do you believe?
I do.
You're all in on the J.J. Watt?
I do.
Like,
I believe that.
I
do believe that.
The mysticism behind him.
I do believe that.
Like
you're off that? I believe that J.J. Watt always.
He thinks he's a goddamn superhero, and he's not. Like every article around J.J. Watt is like something that's never been done before.
Maybe they're embellishing it and they're saying that stuff, or he's telling them like, oh, by the way, I had this injury in the first quarter, but I finished the game.
Yeah.
Maybe he's lying, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of injuries that he does it, and he does it too. So I
definitely think that J.J. Watt's favorite player in the NFL is J.J. Watt.
But that's
okay. But that's okay. Like, I always say this all the time. Like, man, he loves himself. But I'm like, if you don't like yourself like that, then who's gonna like? You have to have that some sort of mentality when you play sports.
You can be confident in yourself, but it doesn't have to be. I played through every injury known to man to get out of here. Like, I will die on the field.
I think it's a mental.
He makes his nose bleed on purpose.
I think
the hard knocks of
the hard knocks.
The fake blood too. Like the fake
that's a Halloween capsule he's rubbing all over himself.
That's right.
It looks like he woke up in the middle of the night.
Oh man, I don't know. I look. You know what? I want to give him the credit. You know what? Like JJ, keep doing you, man.
He is. You don't have to worry
you believe
about
in
that.
Arizona? 7-0?
Like for the year or for this game?
For the year.
I think they're good. I think they're good. I don't know if they're gonna make the Super Bowl run yet, but I will say this: I'm excited to see Chandler Jones is coming back this week. He was on the COVID list for the last couple of weeks, so I want to see what their defense looks like again with him. I mean, he had 5 sacks that one game early in the season.
That spread is so interesting to me, dude.
What is it?
It's 7.
Giving A-Rod 7 points.
And that's what I'm saying. But no Devontae Adams, no Lazar.
Randall Cobb, baby.
Randall Cobb,
Turn
I guess,
back the
is
clock.
but still, you're spotting him a touchdown. Rodgers don't get blown out all that often. We
No
saw
way.
it once. the Saints blew him out, and that seemed like he did it on purpose.
It kind of did.
Yeah, let him have their fun.
Rob Cooksey inside of the Super Chat says Lane has to be out, right, with the Manning end zones and the Manning T-shirts at Ole Miss. I don't know if he's out. And look, I've said this over the last couple of weeks, and I believe this to be true. I think that what has put Lane outside looking in here was 2 weeks ago, was the Saturday night in Knoxville, not the Saturday back in Oxford last week where it was an Arch Manning day.
But that honestly, that makes him more attractive to
LSU.
Hey, this is what you're going to do to get the #1 recruit. Like, that's great. That's great recruiting.
And he's obviously got a great relationship with him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it does get you back into the Arch Manning sweepstakes, whoever hires Lane Kiffin and wherever he goes. But I don't think that necessarily that is what took him out of the mix. I believe, and like I've said numerous times, if I was making this hire, if I was in charge and it was my decision, I would hire Lane Kiffin. He would be my guy because I just think that he's so innovative offensively. You'll always have an offense, but moreover, you'll always have a quarterback.
Right.
You'll always have a guy that is competent under center. And we've always given the example of, Jacob Coker and Blake Sims. Blake Sims was a converted running back, and Jacob Coker is selling insurance now. And he probably should have been that night that they won the national championship.
Right.
But Lane Kiffin made him a national championship quarterback, just like he did Blake Sims, who was a converted running back. I think that his skill set and ability to recruit offensive players, develop offenses, and be forward-thinking on that side of the ball and always having a quarterback is worth whatever the price tag is on this hire and puts him #1 on the list, in my opinion. I think right now, if you're looking for that splash, cachet hire of a guy that can bring you in and make you relevant immediately, then I would hire Lane Kiffin. But I think his time or his game when Ole Miss went to Knoxville, and this was not Lane Kiffin's fault.
Right.
You know what I mean? Lane Kiffin did nothing to trigger any of this happening, but with his...
That's just what you get with him.
With his being there, right. I mean, he's got that status to him where it's a little bit of a sideshow. It's a little bit of a circus. It's a guy eating grass. It's a guy ripping off his shirt. It's a thing that LSU has seen now for almost 15 years, and they don't want to deal with that in this hire. In my opinion, I think that there was a premium on that. I think that they want to make sure
he dropped the grab your popcorn comment before the game and then get their doors blown. And he comes out and he admits it and he's like, yeah, probably shouldn't have said they got caught up in the moment, but like that's the things that you're gonna get with Lane Kiffin.
A lot of foot and mouth moments.
Yep, exactly.
How long do you think it took for them to? How long do you have to pre-order that turf in advance? That can't be like a 1 week turnaround. They had to know for the Manning to be in both end zones. It wasn't painted, was it? It's
absolutely. That was painted.
To get new turf?
No, that was painted. That was painted.
I didn't know if they had to do artificial turf.
Good Lord, bro.
Well, I've never really thought about it.
Where was your head? Where was your head watching that game?
He doesn't know.
Tommy Howard, Blake Sims didn't win the national championship. They lost to OSU. Tommy, they got to the game with Blake Sims as the quarterback.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for God's sakes, Blake Sims being your quarterback, you don't think you should win 8 games in the SEC. He got that guy to the national championship.
They power wash the turf after?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
you act like you know.
You're hung up on that.
I mean, I've seen a quick turnaround on this. I mean, like the Saints played
in
the Saints played a playoff game in the Dome, and then the next day they played the national championship with LSU and Alabama, and there was a quick turnaround on that paint job.
They have to power wash.
I don't know how you get it up.
I'm sure there's like stuff they put on there to pull the paint off. I don't
know. It seems like nobody has a real answer here.
Well, this isn't my...
Where does Ole Miss play this weekend? Where is that game? Ole Miss plays Auburn.
It's got to be at Auburn.
Is it at Auburn?
Why does it have to be?
Because they got to take care of the field.
Like, you should be able to see if there's
shit, they're at Ole Miss.
They're at Ole Miss?
I don't know. Ole Miss versus Auburn. Oh, it's at Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they got time to take care of that field. They got to put new turf down.
You got time. It's not new turf. But there is some type of chemical that you put on there to strip the paint.
Can't be safe to play on.
You know what I mean?
What?
Bro.
Can't be breathing all those chemicals in.
What are you talking about here? You're conspiracy theorist over here.
That was just a recruiting ploy.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like that was nothing but. I mean, I don't think that anybody has ever sold out on one recruit like that. That has got to be the biggest display of just sales pitch into the open for one player that recruiting has ever seen in SEC, and it was all legal. You know what I mean? It was all because you could hide behind the Eli Manning day at Ole Miss. I mean, you turn this thing into nothing but a Manning.
Can you not do that anyway? Like, is that illegal to do with recruiting, especially now with the NIL stuff? Even with the NIL stuff now?
Well, you know, NIL in recruiting is illegal. Like NIL stuff with high school players.
Oh, you can't say
you can't pay a high school recruit, so I don't know how you would recruit around that method. You could bring them in and say, hey, look, Derek Stingley Jr.'s got an NIL deal with Walk-Ons. If you come in and you are a playmaker, we could get you in touch with people from Walk-Ons, and you could have the opportunity to be sponsored by them. You can't paint the end zone, you know, with their name with their name in it during the game that they're at. You know, like sitting up in the suites.
Hey, why not?
You know, if you had Shaz in the end zone, like in his signature, like Shaz. What do you say, bro?
Yeah, look what we did for you.
You know what I mean?
This is
like,
for you.
Put a circle in the corner of the end zone. You are here.
Put like an animated head of Quincy Wiggins on the 50 at LSU. Like, Quincy, look, man, Bama ain't doing this for you, are they?
We'll sell our soul. But if your brother went here, we could do it for Walker, Jamie Howard. You could just retire Howard.
You could have Jamie Howard Day.
Yeah, but
you could put Howard in the end zones, and he goes, "Hey, we celebrate number 4 from 1996." You know what I mean? But his son's fantastic,
and he happens to be here. What a coincidence!
That's right. Shamichael Thompson says, "What happens if Arch Manning turns out to be just average?"
Well, that's the risk you take.
Yeah, you know what? You'd rather him just be average on your team.
Yeah.
Than the other team at this point. You want to make sure and get him here. But I definitely think that Walker Howard is better than Arch Manning.
I do too.
And it's not just because he's an LSU commit and Arch Manning's probably not going to LSU. I think if you've watched just the film of these two guys, and I've seen Walker play in person. I've not seen Arch play in person, but I've seen the film and watched him play on TV live. He's a fantastic player, really good and very talented. He can't do the things that Walker does.
No.
He doesn't have the athleticism, quite frankly, that Walker. I think that Walker is undervalued as an athlete. Turn on the Neville film of Walker a couple of weeks ago and watch how good of an athlete he is. And Walker's got this quality to him that I think at the quarterback position you have to have, and the great ones have it, is that when you need a play, when you got to have one, he's going to make it for you. He's going to make it for you almost 10 out of 10 times. And it was easy to get those plays made last year when you had the type of supporting cast he had around him, you know, specifically Jack Besh, who he has been here on this show, and he has said as a quarterback, he felt like he could throw it anywhere around him and Besh was going to make the play. But now he's doing it with me and Lloyd.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? As a supporting cast.
Newman's got the supporting cast. They have D1 play. They have probably, 3 or 4 D1 players on their. They have 2 guys coming to LSU. They have another guy who is a tight end who's supposed to go is a Division I. I think he's getting looked at by some big schools. So like he's got the guys around him. Arch Manning does at Newman.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, so yeah, I mean,
should we have the conversation that
we've taken the role of recruiting now? Hey, Walker, listen up, bud.
Yeah,
come over here. We got you.
Yeah, we got Walker on the line anytime.
Yeah,
I mean, Walker's our number 1 guy.
Without a doubt.
I mean, 1-1-8 with Quincy Wiggins.
We got the board.
We got Billy Napier somewhere down here.
Right, that's right.
Wait, should we have the conversation where if Arch Manning's last name wasn't Manning and he wasn't related to Peyton and Eli and Cooper, I'll throw him in there. Where would he be on the recruiting board? Are his numbers
I definitely still think he'd be a top 5, top 10. I mean, but he wouldn't be
what that is.
What he is.
Still I mean, anytime you're looking and evaluating a guy, you look at
pedigree.
Yes, and he's got. I mean,
he's definitely got it.
He can't have much more pedigree than he's got.
That gets him to the table.
Yeah.
Right. Like that. You knew who Arch Manning was when he was in 8th grade at Newman.
Right.
Like Randy Livingston was talking about him on the basketball floor when he was a freshman, saying that this kid's going to probably be about 6'5" by the time he leaves here. And he's grown to about 6'3.5" right now. I mean, he's huge at this point. And I still think that you're paying attention to him and that he's a top 5 quarterback in that recruiting class. The Manning name comes with a whole different type of cachet to it. Yeah, like, I mean, it just comes with a whole different type of feeling around it. And that is going to bring, I mean, like Steve Sarkisian, did you see this, that Bleacher Report published that Steve Sarkisian, Arch Manning left his notes that he took on his official visit to Texas. They went and spent pretty much the majority of the day on the whiteboard. Wow. And they're breaking down, and Manning either had left his notes behind or there was a copy of his notes or something, and Sark got in touch with Nelson Stewart, who is the head coach at Newman, and that conversation was leaked. Like the text conversation between the head coach at Newman and the head coach of Texas, Steve Sarkisian, and he was just talking about how long Sark had been in recruiting, how many players he had worked with, and he had never seen anybody's note-taking ability and so much attention to detail.
I know you don't believe. Why don't you believe that?
In the notes,
nobody leaves notes behind.
That Arch had taken, and that this was the recruiting line right here. He says, it made me feel, this is Sarkisian to the Newman head coach. He says, it made me say, it doesn't matter if we get him or not. The fact that I was able to spend that day and that moment with him was enough all in all. So we just want to tell Arch we got his notes, and if he needs them, they're in Austin.
Thank you, Arch.
Jesus.
Okay,
so you don't believe the Arch taking note? You don't believe?
No, I believe he took notes, and I believe he is very football smart because of Peyton Manning is his uncle. What do you think they talk about
Eli,
at Thanksgiving?
And
and Eli. But I mean, if a man's going to take that many notes and be that detail-oriented, he's going to forget his notepad. Like, what are you doing?
Point.
I mean, that's a very good point. He's also 16, 17
that is
years
good
old.
point.
I took all these notes down, but I don't. Yeah, oops, forgot them. My bad.
Yeah.
Can I get that's such a ploy.
Yeah. But I definitely think that he comes with a football IQ that's probably advanced.
Yes. But I'm saying he left him on purpose.
He's breaking down, or did he leave him at all? And Sark is just looking. He probably Sark probably read him and then just said, you know what? Here's the play. Yeah. We're gonna text him in a month and tell him he left him behind and that we've never seen anything like it.
Hey, Sark, Valentine's Day is in February, brother.
The quote
wherever he goes,
the whole story is very Sarkisian. It is very Sark. It is very
That's like when you break up with your girlfriend. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, I hope that someday somebody makes you really happy. You don't mean that. You want to make that person really happy.
I'm trying to smash one more time.
I just want you to be happy.
Yeah, come on.
GoFlow IV and Spa brings you the Jordy Culotta Show every single day here. Remember, GoFlowIV.com, Baton Rouge's premier medical spa specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion located on Jefferson Highway. They're online at GeauxFlowIV.com. Memberships are available at a 3-month, 6-month annual rate if you're looking for that. Chronic dehydration, skin, hair, beauty care, athletic performance, illness recovery. You suffer from any of that, even a hangover cure. Get over to GoFlowIV, GeauxFlowIV.com, online, located on Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, 7970 Jefferson Highway. Baton Rouge's premier medical spa specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. GoFlow IV and Spa. Game 2 of the World Series last night. Houston takes care of the Braves 7-2, mashing the ball last night for the Stros. How does this change the whole tone of the series? Is it now going back to Atlanta, or is it 3-2-3? Oh, is it 3-2-2?
It's 2-3-2.
Okay, 2-3-2.
Yeah, so it's going back to Atlanta. I think I got a little caught up in the moment yesterday when I said I was taking the Braves. I knew the Astros smashed lefties. Knew Max Fried was pitching. I was a prisoner of the moment yesterday. I picked the Braves and it didn't work out for me, but I don't think it surprises me. I think that, you know, if I logically thought about it, I would have probably picked the Astros and it would have been 1-1. But they got one in Houston, which is huge for them. You know, going back to Atlanta with a series tied instead of down 2-0 is big for them. And I mean, the chop's going to be out on full display for these next 3 days.
Atlanta will be throwing Ian Anderson in Game 3. They'll have a travel day today, so they're off here today and then back at the park tomorrow for a 7 o'clock first pitch in Atlanta. And Houston going to throw Louis Garcia. You know anything about these guys?
Yeah, so I've faced Ian Anderson before. He's got, you know, he's a typical, honestly, the new age pitcher. What they're trying to find, he has ride on his fastball, so the ball kind of stays up on the same plane. Looks like it's kind of riding on you, and then he throws a really, really nasty changeup. And so he just kind of, I don't know if people were watching, but it goes up and down, right? So like he tries to. They call it tunneling, right?
Okay.
So everything comes out the same tunnel, right? So the fastball comes out the same way as a changeup, but the fastball looks like it goes up, and the changeup falls down. So they're going both directions, and so I think that's what makes him really good. You know, he's a right-handed pitcher, but he throws changeups to both hitters, righties and lefties. I don't know much about Louis Garcia. I'm assuming he probably throws mid to upper 90s with a hard slider.
Great name.
Yeah, of course. You know, Louis Garcia is a great name.
It is.
It is a great name.
Great in the LSU baseball lore, too.
Great.
Hates to swim.
Louis Garcia, if you're ever in Miami, go see Louis Garcia's restaurant.
Absolutely.
That is a spot.
Get in touch with Louis.
Yeah. No, but he's good. I think that the going back to Atlanta and they have the bullpen, both bullpens are gonna be well rested. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think Atlanta wins.
The chop is going to be out.
It's gonna be a
I'm right.
scene.
Look,
Yes.
I've already picked my choice. I got to ride Atlanta. I'm going.
This is a new ballpark, right? This is
Cobb
one
County.
of those new.
Yeah, I
is it
think
Truist
it's been 2.
Park.
Truist Park. I think it's been 2 years old, 3 years
Yeah,
old, something like that.
I mean, they didn't necessarily need one, right? I mean, the TED used to be a pretty jumping spot.
Yeah,
but I mean, I hear like
I've never been. In this
I've heard
one,
that
so.
the best nightclub in Atlanta was in the ballpark.
This one,
like in this one, like that people were like actually going to the club in the
Cobb
ballpark.
County?
I guess so.
I've never been.
That's
This one.
Caucasian.com in Cobb County. That's the whitest place in America.
Really?
But it's a baseball haven. That's where everybody goes. And Mike, you correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where all like the U18, U16.
Yeah,
East Cobb.
It is all. Yeah, East Cobb is a monster for baseball. So I think that's kind of what they were doing there to placate to those people.
I know the Marlins. The Marlins used to have a club, the Clevelander, out in left field. And,
Really?
Used to if you're taking BP out there, all the girls that were coming would show up early during BP, and so nobody was in the everybody was on the left side, and they were sitting right at the front of the club so they could see all the beef walk in. And so now the pitchers, honestly, it was the pitchers and the relievers who needed shag. And so left all of us position players who were actually literally shag, who were actually getting ready for the game. We have to go and chase down all these balls because the pitchers are stuck in one corner. That's what they did.
He's a pull hitter. Everybody.
So this is Hard Rock. This is Miami's new ballpark. Hard Rock.
This was the Marlins Stadium. So the new they don't have it anymore. I think they got rid of the
Clevelander.
but this was like recently. They got rid of it recently,
Right,
baby.
because that was like when they opened up that ballpark. Like that was like the new spot to be. Like they had like the art gallery in the center field.
The whole stadium is like bright. Like it's like ugly colors. It's a huge stadium. Nobody goes to their games
Nobody's
anyway.
in it.
So
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's a huge stadium, but then they put the Clevelander in there, and like you're in the outfield, you go the whole time in the outfield.
Damn.
They're getting
What
down
inning is
back
this?
there.
We gotta
Okay,
go.
so we got a day game. We're just gonna just walk out to the Clevelander after the game.
Day game, morning.
Best stadium. What is it?
I mean, what do you?
What would I think?
I mean, what do you want to go like all overall experience or like actually like the
Nostalgia.
best way like newest stadium?
What's
Coolest
the best
stadium?
modern day stadium? What's the best newest edition of baseball stadium? And then what's the Fenway, Wrigley?
So Fenway is my favorite place to be. Right, I've only played in Wrigley once. I love Wrigley. I think I'll go Fenway and Wrigley. One and one.
Did you play a day
right?
game in Wrigley?
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love Fenway. New modern stadiums, like it's hard because like I haven't been to the new Ranger Stadium. I used to love the old ballpark at Arlington.
Yeah.
I used to love it. I love Minute Maid. I do like Minute Maid. Man, I don't really know. I think to me, if I had to pick like a new age stadium, retractable roof, I like Minute Maid a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
They don't have the flagpole in center field anymore, do they?
No, they
got
took the
rid
thing
of
down.
that.
They took the hill out, and I mean, what are you thinking? You're putting first of all, the center field is 425 feet away with a hill that you have to run uphill with
like-
a light pole in the middle of the freaking thing.
Like, really, who thought that was a good idea? And then who was like, yeah, that's right. That's a good idea. We approve that.
It's called
Yeah, that's
home
good.
field advantage.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's also called dumb.
Well, you could.
You
That
know what I
means-
mean? Like,
in your mind,
put
that
the
means-
train tracks out there if you want to.
That is one thing that I like about baseball is like,
the quirks.
yeah, every stadium, like
Has
most
their-
stadium has like nooks and crannies that
Yeah.
like aren't like they're different. Like you have the wall in Fenway, you had the hill. I mean, even now without the hill in Houston, you have like the shorter wall, and then it juts out, and it's weird. You have all these different things. It's not like NFL where it's like
Yeah,
this is
standard
exactly
100
the
yard,
field's gonna
52 and a
be.
half, yeah.
How
Yeah.
far could you take that in baseball? I mean, you have a hill in center field with a pole in it. Could we put like a little levee somewhere? Where does
you can't go down.
You can only go up.
I feel like you can only go if you go down. I mean, you're breaking legs. Like,
well, if that's danger, there's a pole out there.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
Okay.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
I just wonder how far can you take it to? We're like, don't know if that should be out there.
Now they're doing the whole like dome, but like you can keep the windows open thing. Like, you can close the dome like Milwaukee has it. So it's a retractable roof. It's open air. That is the phrase that they use.
So wait, what is it?
So like you can retract. It's a retractable roof, but then the concourse, you can close the roof and then have the windows open outside by the concourse.
Okay.
So like you're still getting some of that outside air. Funny story about Milwaukee, not funny, but like so. I played Milwaukee the last series of the year in 2018, but this past year, before the season started, we had an alternate site with Chicago, right? And so we were playing in Schaumburg, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago, and we would scrimmage exhibition games against the Brewers, and we'd go up to Milwaukee and we'd play. It was like an hour-and-a-half drive, and we'd play the Brewers for the first month, like a few times. And so we're in this dome, just us, nobody there, and they had the windows open, and they had this guy on Milwaukee, and his name is Dylan Cousins. He's a monster, bro. Like, he ended up retiring to go play tight end somewhere. Wow. Like, he's a high school kid. I'm talking about
what a freak.
He's a monster.
What a freak.
And like a couple of years.
He can hit the ball. He hits the ball.
Not doing this anymore. I'm going to play in the NFL.
So far, right? And so one of our pitchers is throwing. He threw like a 97-mile fastball, and nobody's in the stands. It's a dome, so the echoes are loud. And it's the last inning. And this dude throws a 97-mile fastball right down the middle, waist high, and this guy absolutely murders. It sounds like a gunshot went off. And I'm in center field, and I'm watching the ball, and it's going, and I'm like, oh my God, this ball's going to leave the stadium. And all I hear is, dum, dum, dum. It hit the concourse outside of the windows. Hit it through the windows. 118 miles an hour off the bat, 480 feet. I'm like, oh my God.
And by the way, I quit.
Yeah, right. And I'm going to the NFL.
Out into the concourse. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a freak.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love stories like that.
Yeah.
Was that the freakiest thing you've ever seen at the major league level?
I mean, that was like, yeah, I mean, I've seen like watching Stanton hit homers, and like Trout just as a baseball player, but like watch because Stanton doesn't have like a pretty swing. He's almost just like a caveman.
Very clunky, isn't it?
Almost like a caveman, like see ball, hit ball hard, like you know. Like, you hit the ball, and the ball just he hits balls like a 2-iron that go 450 feet, and it's I mean it's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
we went to Petco in San Diego.
I love Petco.
I could imagine being as a player
Petco.
Loving it because everything's on top of you, and the city is right behind you. That's a cool place to play.
Awesome. Yeah. I love Petco. It's a fun. There's a lot of minor league, National League stadiums I haven't played in because I was in the American League pretty much my whole career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Petco.
That's got to from that standpoint. That probably makes you more eager to go to certain ballparks, right? Knowing that you're not going to go to them a lot, or had the opportunity to go to like Wrigley, right?
Right. I was so pumped to play in Wrigley. I was pumped to play in Petco. I actually in 16 I was excited to go out and play in LA and play the Dodgers, but I broke my hand. I didn't get to go on the trip. I didn't even get to go on the trip, so I didn't even get to see playing Dodger Stadium. But like stuff like that, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. Daily, we're brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. Remember, over at Cajun Ready Mix, they provide ready mix concrete products and services to meet all of your concrete needs, no matter if your project is residential, commercial, industrial, or municipal. Cajun Ready Mix has 9 certified plants to service the greater Baton Rouge area and all the outlying cities, which means that Cajun Ready Mix Concrete guarantees that all your deliveries will be completed on time to the exact specifications. For more information, visit them online at CajunRMC.com, CajunRMC.com. Residential, commercial, industrial, any project that you may need concrete for, let Cajun Ready Mix get the concrete for you. CajunRMC.com. We will talk to Megan making money here in about 15 minutes as we will get picks for Thursday night football, Arizona and Green Bay tonight in the NFL, and then college football this weekend. Some of the games that jump out, Michigan State and East Lansing. What does Megan think about that? We'll get her picks for the college football weekend coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained? Go Flow IV and Spa, 7970 Jefferson Highway is where you can find them, or you can simply go online to goflowiv.com. Go Flow IV Spa is a medical spa that specializes in IV hydration with vitamin infusion. At Go Flow IV Spa, they can help you with a wide range of issues, from skin care to illness recovery, athletic performance, hangover cure, chronic illness, and even chronic dehydration. GoFlowIV.com or stop in and see them, 7970 Jefferson Highway. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Mikie Mahtook is in. Jordan Peck just showed up. Lizzie is here. Inside of the UDL on this Thursday edition. Remember, all of our content is podcasted and brought back to you by RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. Whether you need a custom design home, whether you're looking to just upgrade the home you're in, or need a handy project done around the house, get in touch with RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. All right, Megan Making Money is back with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. She's got a couple of picks for us here for college football this upcoming weekend, and then, of course, this Thursday night tilt between Green Bay and Arizona out west. We welcome in Megan Making Money from Barstool Sports, Barstool's own. Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are y'all?
We're doing okay. Remember, you can follow her on Twitter at Megan Making Money. How'd you do last weekend?
Good NFL weekend, and with college football, I've just been kind of treading water. Just 1 week I'm up, 1 week I'm down a little bit, and it all evens out. So it's been good NFL season thus far, and as I said, just I would say good to mediocre college football season thus far.
All right, let's start tonight. How we feel about this Thursday night match? Great matchup on paper.
A lot of points.
A lot of points, but it's missing some of the key figures in the game, right? So how do we judge the number?
All right, so obviously you have Adams and Watt out, right? So I guess they're saying that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be able to throw to anybody else besides Devontae Adams. I don't think that's going to be the case. The Cards are undefeated, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that up. They're great, but you're going against Aaron Rodgers, a guy who literally hasn't lost since the Saints, so week 1, and has kind of been on a revenge tour, it seems like, with his long greasy hair. I like Green Bay plus the 6.5. I also took a prop, which is Aaron Jones over the 59.5 rushing yards. I think they'll establish the run against the Cards tonight. Don't be surprised if Green Bay pulls an upset here.
I was about to say, do you like the money line?
I'll sprinkle a little on the money line. I mean, I think right now Kyler's playing a little bit bigger than he actually is. I think this Cards team is playing a little bit faster than they actually are. Look, I'm not discrediting the Cardinals. I think they're a fantastic football team, but I think that there are ways that this team can be exposed, and they haven't really been exposed yet. And I think that Green Bay could be the team to do it. You never know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, and if you're going to give him 6.5 points, I think that's a little disrespectful. So yeah, I like Green Bay tonight plus the 6.5.
That is a big number for Aaron Rodgers. That does look too big next to his name and Green Bay's logo. If you were betting today, Kyler Murray or Dak Prescott MVP at the halfway point?
I would probably have to go Kyler Murray. I mean, I hate to say that, but I feel like Dak is, with his coming back from an injury, he could be like maybe comeback player of the year.
I
think Kyler. I think he's just been out there balling. He's finding ways to make plays happen, whether it's his hands or his feet. I don't know. I like Kyler.
You have somebody that you think you can sneak in there? Like dark horse?
We're setting you up for a Joe Burrow answer.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course. Dude, yeah, of course. Joe Burrow. He's been absolutely phenomenal this year. Anytime that I've talked with anyone, whether it's on like Money Shots, our show on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, anytime I talk about the Bengals, I get like a little pitter patter, like I'm a mama, and I'm just so proud of Burrow. I know we're close in age, but like I really feel like he's my little boy, and I'm just so proud of him.
I'm sure he would have a different answer.
You can call me Daddy, Megan.
There's a lot of subtle leader out there, Megan.
That's right.
Stepson.
All right, college football weekend. Where are we going? How we feeling?
So unfortunately, I'm having to fade Tulane again this week. I said last week that Cincinnati wanted style points, but look, Navy kind of exposed their weakness, which is the running game. But guess what? Tulane does not really have a running game. Cincinnati should be able to go out there and blow Tulane out of the water, just like SMU did. I mean, the offenses are similar. Cincinnati's offense is better than SMU. So look, I think they should be able to go out there and get the cover. I also like, and I'm going to continue to ride this team, I love Kenny Pickett. He's starting to get some respect over the last 3 weeks for potential Heisman. I think he was 12-1 last time I looked. But they're playing the U this week, and it's Pitt -9. And I'm starting to pay a premium for this team, but it's all good. The Canes have been just lackadaisical all the year long, whether it was De'Ara King or Tyler Van Dyke. One of their best defensive player is out, and their defense isn't great to begin with, who's Bubba Bolden, I believe, who's a safety. I like Pitt minus the 9. Those are some of my chalkier plays. I got Syracuse is also some chalk. I like Syracuse minus the 6, which that's part of the 3 Blondes parlay this week at Barstool, which is me, Casey, and Kelly. It's going to be Syracuse, Cincinnati and UCLA on that card this week, and I actually had those all of those bets in before I spoke with the other girls this week. So I feel like that's a good sign. I usually don't ever have the other two bets that are on that card actually down. So this week seems like a good one to hit it. Also, I like FSU plus the 9.5 at Clemson. I feel like this number is asking me to take FSU, but I'm going to do it. Clemson has only won one time this year as a double-digit favorite, and that's against South Carolina State. I mean, come on, guys. Like that's almost embarrassing.
I don't think they've covered yet this year.
I also like Purdue plus the 7.5. I like SMU plus 1 against Houston. That game should be a phenomenal game. You have Houston at home. Apparently, they're having a blackout, which is a little scary. You have the whole crowd in black. All uniforms in black are always a little bit more scary. And anytime I bet against a team in black, I'm always on my toes. But SMU has been another school that I've been riding and has been making me a ton of money. They're undefeated, and I think they continue that streak.
All these numbers coming from Barstool Sportsbook. You can follow them on Twitter at BS Sportsbook, at Barstool Sportsbook on Twitter. Back to Pitt real quick, and then we'll get you out of here. Thank you for the picks, as always, on a Thursday morning. Megan making money from Barstool. Follow her on Twitter to keep up with the picks, and she's all over the place from a podcasting standpoint. Pitt feels like the best team in the ACC right now.
They do feel like the best team. I feel like they are the best team in the ACC right now. I absolutely love this Pitt Panthers team, and I feel like Kenny Pickett made the right decision staying there. His 17th year? He's been there forever, but now he's finally playing well. I'm obsessed with this team right now.
Have a great weekend. Everybody safe down there in Lafayette from the weather yesterday? I saw Lake Charles, man, again pounded by tornadoes and rain. Everybody good in the Acadiana area?
Yeah, I feel like we have some kind of magical bubble around our house because weather seems to never really, knock on wood, get bad around here, whether it's the floods or wherever. I feel like we've just kind of lucked out, so I'm hoping that we continue that streak.
Beck, I got one quick one for you. Penn State, Ohio State. It seems like James Franklin's brain is on another planet where he thinks they're playing Illinois. He's talking about Michigan's. He's talking about the Big House where they're going to the Horseshoe. The line's 18.5 for Penn State. Is there any sort of, maybe it's 42-10 where they just get blown out because James Franklin's mind seems to be in Southern California?
Honestly, I haven't really looked much at that game since I have 8 other games that I'm playing, and then I also had 3 more on my card. I don't know how to play that game. I mean, Penn State, as you said, lost 9 overtimes last week. That's a hell of a lot of overtimes to just play in general to go on to this week. I'm not touching Penn State. I don't want anything to do with them, and I honestly haven't really liked them all year. And also not a big Franklin girl, so yeah.
There you go.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, y'all have a good weekend, too.
All right, there she is, Megan making money from Barstool Sports, checking in and giving her picks for not only tonight. She likes Green Bay plus the 6.5. That is a big number next to Aaron Rodgers. But you take away 2 of his top pass catchers in Devontae Adams and is it Lazard?
Darnell Lazard. No, not Darnell Lazard.
Not Darnell. I think it's
but
Tony.
Great wide receiver.
Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard.
Thank you. Nice pull there from the fantasy expert. That was a fantasy football pull.
Yep.
Jeff Marson thinks we need to Ask Mikie segment every week where he can go into storytelling.
Ooh,
I'm with
that.
it. I'm with it.
I like that. Let's do it.
All right. It's on.
It's on. We did it.
Ask
Thanks,
Mikie. Well, what is today? Thursday? We'll make it every Thursday here on the Jordy Culotta Show. The Ask Mikie segment. It is great storytelling. I think anytime you can get a pro athlete who is open about this. The best stuff is that it happens kind of behind the scenes, the stuff that kind of goes on in the locker room. And Mikey's pretty transparent with that stuff. So we'll get a Ask Mikie segment coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
We swing and miss on our segments a lot. We tend to forget about them.
But that's okay.
Some hit the wall.
We'll put them on the board. We don't have a board, but we put it on the board.
We do need a board. Stick with them.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It always sounds good. Let's put it on the board.
But yeah.
Just even if you don't have a board, just put it on the board.
That's right. Big day for the Jordy Culotta Show. Enjoy your Thursday. We've got to be at the dentist today at 11 o'clock. I'm looking forward to that. But John Song
actually, I guess
makes that better. Yeah.
No, it's not anything. Should talk about Pickett? Kenny Pickett. I love Kenny Pickett. What do you think?
From Pitt.
Yeah. What do you think? Would you like him as a future Saints guy? I like Pickett.
You know who I like more as a future Saints guy? The more I think about it, is Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah. Okay, but
I'm talking about draft pick.
Yeah. I love Aaron Rodgers.
It's crazy. It's crazy that there's not that marquee quarterback in college football this year.
But I think that's what Sean Payton likes.
I think he definitely likes somebody off the board.
Yes.
Yeah, we've already done it with Ian Book. He went quarterback last year with the Notre Dame quarterback.
Do we think Ian Book's gonna be the guy?
No, I don't think Kenny Pickett will be the guy either.
I don't know. I think Kenny Pickett's better than Ian Book. Have you seen Kenny
Pickett
play?
too. I think he is too.
I have.
Have you?
I
think he is.
Really?
Like
Watched
that?
the last 2 years. Yeah.
No, I think he is better than Ian Book.
I think he's good. I think he's kind of like the Mac Jones type of guy, like late bloomer, but like understands. I think he's more talent, has maybe more arm talent. I don't know.
Remember what?
Big
arm talent. Well,
get him off his mark.
Arm talent.
The poll question is up. Is chapstick the world's greatest con? Numbers are coming in both on Twitter. Are we all over the place on this? Where are you stand on chapstick? I'm in on chapstick.
I am in on it too.
I'm in on chapstick.
So
Jordan Peck nods approvingly.
Yeah,
he's in on chapstick
too.
Of course, I'd expect it from you three. Y'all are all in on the con. Just go ahead, go spend your $1.99 on the chapstick.
I don't want the chalky lips. Okay?
Just as much as I would think that you were in on the conspiracy of chapstick.
Just if you never
exactly
right, like,
exactly.
If you never
is that what you're worried about here on this Thursday, bro?
What's your other favorite conspiracy theory?
I mean, I'm hot on this paint trail for turf. That was the first one that's come to my brain.
Give me like one that's give me like a mainstream. Don't give me the back door. Give me the mainstream one.
Are there conspiracy theories that
One
are
shooter?
mainstream?
Yeah.
One shooter?
Oh, definitely.
What? Definitely one shooter?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that man, he had plotted it out too much. He was an Army guy. He was in there he knew that JFK had gone to the library before. He was plotting that thing the entire time.
Okay.
Magic bullet. Just caught a little wind. Caught a little wind going
one shooter?
down.
You a one shooter guy?
I think I'm not a one shooter guy.
Yeah, multiple.
I'm a multiple shooter guy.
Enjoy your Thursday. Ghost Chevrolet drives us every day. Remember, everything that we talked about here is podcasted and brought back to you at rmb-builders.com. It'll be Friday the next time we talk to you. Enjoy your Thursday.
You don't need chapstick. If you never put it on, you'll never need it. Trust me.
Look, this guy used Vaseline.
Yeah,
there
Vaseline. There it is. See, I told y'all.
Weirdo walking around with a big blob of Vaseline in his pocket.
He looks like he got Still in the air?
Yeah, we were for a second.